Otherwise, I get 15 minutes in and go. Let's see. Judy's out hunting.
Yes. Camping. she
Camping,
said.
yes.
Yes. She camps every year for a couple of weeks with a bunch of girls for the last 20, 30 years.
Wow.
And they tent it.
Yes, and an old fashioned way of doing it too.
Oh, wow.
Gary,
Dan,
oh,
Dan, I
there's
was
Al.
going to tell you, I talked to a friend that lives a little bit south of you in Costa Mesa.
Oh, yes, that's very close.
One of my husband's fraternity buddies called to wish us a happy anniversary because he stood up to our wedding September 3rd.
Nice.
So, but it was interesting. He was in Huntington Beach before. Now he moved.
Well, that's not too far away at all. That's right
No,
in the neighborhood.
right on the coast.
Morning, Al.
Morning.
Wow.
How many years have you been married?
56.
Wow.
And we
It's a
weren't
big
young. Both of my kids have 25, so they're in the same category. Our family, our in-laws had 50, my parents had 50, my brother-in-law has over 50. We're very dedicated people to our families.
Very nice.
Nice.
In fact, I was just telling my husband, we're going to be not only great aunts and uncles, we're great. And it'll be 13 times. We've got one more baby due.
Oh,
Nothing like
No.
babies.
Great aunt. I don't have great grandchildren, but I have greats.
It's amazing.
Now, Dan, do you know if Ken's at the airport or not? You gonna join us? Do you know?
Last note I got from him said he was going to try, but haven't heard anything after that.
Okay. So I think only Tom is missing,
Right.
and it's
Just about showtime.
yeah. I'm sure Tom will join us, so why don't we go ahead and get started?
Okay, let's do that.
And,
Now,
happy holidays to everyone.
Yes.
Happy
Sure.
holidays.
Once we get Tom on, Gary, at some point, let's take a moment and have everybody facing forward, best smile on, and that's what I'll snip for the Christmas card.
Okay, so we'll come back to that.
Oh.
Sure.
And there's Tom.
Smart.
Tom's gotten younger looking.
I was gonna say, he's
Morning,
looking
Mark.
great.
Yes,
Welcome,
Tom
Mark.
has definitely gone down in years. Enjoy, gentlemen
Thanks.
Yes, Mark.
Thank you.
and ladies. Turn the volume up there. Okay. Good morning.
Morning, Tom. Okay, Gary, I'm gonna throw up that agenda.
Okay. Well, don't throw up on the agenda.
Okay, I'll just put it up there. There we go.
I'll talk about membership first. We've had 83 new members register since launching the website in December. Unfortunately, a number of our alumni that register don't pay. So it's been a chasing game to try to get them to do so. So in the initial welcome email, once their registration is approved, they're reminded of the 3 ways to pay on Wix, PayPal, or send a check to the PO box. And when that fails, then they were sent a letter May 19th, and that netted, that got 12 people to pay. On 6/28, after the last board meeting, Glenn sent a text to all of those that were delinquent. That netted only 2 additional payments, which was a little bit surprising. On September 3rd, I sent an email out from the club's Yahoo account which netted 5 payments, and 2 people decided that they didn't want to join. And then we've had 2 registrations that were blocked due to no response. So people had registered but never filled out any information. And then we blocked another 5 registrations from people that were not alumni members, just trying to gain access to the club. So as of, I think yesterday, we've got 28 of the 83 that are unpaid. They've been sent a final, 17 of those people have been sent a final reminder to pay, or they'll be dropped on 10/31. And 8 people, the most recent that have registered, were sent a second reminder email. And then in the process, we've changed up the welcome letter to, once you pay, then we'll activate your account. And that's netted 3 people that have signed up and consequence and have paid. So we still have some people we're chasing. Dan, I don't know if you've got that Excel spreadsheet I sent you on.
Yeah, I do.
Just to give you an idea of who these folks are. Good morning, John. You're looking very festive. And you're home. So you can see the 2 people that were canceled, 2 that are blocked. And where we're at now, there's been a couple more that have actually joined since this spreadsheet was sent to Dan. So we're keeping track of the notifications, and once they get 3 subsequent reminders after their initial welcome letter, if they haven't paid, then we're gonna drop them. And I think requiring payment before authorization will save us a lot of paper chasing on the back end. Thanks, Dan.
Mm-hmm.
Any update on the gift certificate for the merch store?
Yeah, I put together a little sample of what that can look like. Welcome to the Osco Sav-on Alumni Club. As a new member, please accept this coupon good for $15 off any purchase from the Alumni Goods merchandise store. To redeem your coupon, simply click on this link. That'll take them to the website. And then the methodology that we determined to do this is, once we go live with this, we will send Lee a listing of any updated new members. And then as she sees those names come through, she'll automatically deduct that $15.
Okay, so I guess the question that still remains is, when do we want to institute this, or do we want to send it to everybody that joined this year, which would be, except those people that are going to probably get dropped? What's the board's feeling?
Could be with the
Make it
new
an effective
membership.
date and just go forward with it, probably. That would be mine.
Yes, the same. Yeah, go
I would
ahead with
agree.
it.
I
Okay,
agree.
Yes.
maybe we'll put a little blurb in the Connections newsletter, reminding members that if they get somebody else to join, they literally get their first year for free. So,
Right.
Right.
and
That's
they
an
get
encouragement.
a nifty
A nifty gifty.
store. Yeah.
Okay. Let's see, back to.
Little follow-up from last meeting. Diane went back and got the bylaws updated to include vendors that have been affiliated with the company.
Right, Article
To date,
4,
we've only-
section,
Yeah, to date, we only have one of those, but that's what the change looks like. It's highlighted there in yellow. All the rest of that verbiage was the same. And the last update we had was 2015, so.
right.
Hey, Gary, before we leave the, the number of new members that have come in, having been on the board for quite some time, 83 new members is phenomenal, even if only 60 of them pay. I mean, we've never had that kind of response, so I think that's a tribute to the new website.
Yeah, I think so too, Larry. And the only other time we've had more members join, well, really, they didn't join. We gave them free membership was when it was free. So again, for a club that is this old and a company that doesn't even exist, we still get people to join, which is encouraging.
Yep.
Yes.
We do need to vote on this amendment to the bylaws for eligibility. So we'll do that at this time. So all those in favor?
Aye.
I,
Opposed? Bylaws will be amended.
Hey, Gary, I did want to give credit to Judy Archer for coming up with the another trip around the sun birthday recognition.
Great
I
idea.
see several of those names on that list, I think, are directly related to that. So as board members, if you guys are on social media or you just have contacts that you know their birthdays are coming up, we're recognizing the month of the year that they're born in, nothing else. But if you talk to them or connect me with them to get their approval to post their name, birthday, and a picture if they want, I'm reaching out to people and creating a list to keep on an ongoing basis. So I have some contacts, but I don't know a whole lot of people out west, and I know a few people on the east. So
You're too modest, John. Yeah, I mean, it's gained a lot of traction, and it's not everybody, everybody's birthday that we post is a member, but they are an alumni. So I think it's appropriate to do so, and it's always good if we got a recent picture. If not, we've been taking one off of Facebook and posting that. So everybody's interested to see how gracefully we're all growing older.
Well said.
Or some of us are not. All right, Cal. Take it away.
Okay, so for this quarterly report, it's a little bit different because we had the Sav-on 77th event going on. So we had ticket sales in the quarter of $1,579.39. And then if you look down on expenses, we had event expenses of 4013.29. So this isn't inclusive on the event. And Dan, I don't know if you were going to talk about the financials when you discussed the Sav-on event.
It wasn't really going to be my focus, but we can certainly talk that through, Cal.
Okay. So basically, a few years ago, we had set up a checking account in LA to start taking in ticket sales for the 75th. And then, of course, it got delayed and it got delayed. So in the meantime, we had developed a new website where we could take in event sales. And so we ended up closing the checking account in LA, transferring that money into the US bank account, and then started taking in ticket sales through the website, which is really a nice feature. So, and we changed the price on the ticket sale from $40 originally, we went up to $45. So we had some kind of unusual things happen. But when it comes to the bottom line on how much the event cost us, it looks like a little over $500. If you went back and added in all the ticket sales that we had that aren't reflected in the quarterly results here and then some other miscellaneous expenses. So currently through the end of September, we have, as you can see on the bottom there, a little over $9,000 total in all three accounts. And we've got some new members on the board, and now that we've had our website up and running for about 10 months, I thought we might just go through and explain to everybody kind of how we're taking in the dues and what that's costing us. So basically, right now, we're probably having PayPal, the website, and checks are the main ways that people are paying. So you might remember that PayPal got in a little trouble last year, early in the year, when it was discovered that they had some ghost accounts and were probably overstating their membership. Their stock went way down, and so once that kind of blew over in August, they upped how much the fee was going to be on what we paid for them to handle our dues. So right now they're charging us, out of every $15, we pay $1.01 for them to handle. So the net result of a $15 due is that we get $13.99. And then with Wix, through our website, they're charging us 74 cents for the processing fee. So we're netting $14.26 when it's done through the website. And checks, of course, there's the only expense we really have is that Sue has to record the checks and then send them to me, and then I process them, indicating in our contact manager that they paid their dues. So we've got the postage of sending the checks to me, and that's really about the only expense involved. Wix automatically deposits to our checking account in 2 to 3 days. So let's say somebody signs up today. That'll probably appear in the US bank account automatically on Wednesday. And PayPal is still a manual process where I try and keep it at about $200. So when it gets 100 to 200 over, then I'll transfer it into our US bank account. And Wix can handle payments for events like what we did for the Sav-on 77th, whereas PayPal, right now, we're not using that capability. So both PayPal and Wix can handle recurring yearly dues charges. So once you sign up for PayPal or Wix, it's going to automatically be deducted every year. And both PayPal and Wix can do refunds. However, we never receive back any money for fees. And sometimes we have people that, you know, have paid several times, and we end up having 2 or 3 years sometimes of our dues that we've recorded in our contact manager. And so we have to back those out if they pay us again. So any questions on anything at all that I've just gone through?
Great recap, Cal.
For a point of interest, 70 members have paid via Wix. And that's a combination of either new membership or existing membership that have changed how they pay, either from PayPal or from checks.
Pretty good. And I got to say that the whole process transitioning from the manual thing that Al and I were doing with the checking account out here and moving it into the Wix website was so smooth and made it so much easier. It was just really a pleasure. There were no last minute headaches. Everything went really, really well.
Just one other piece on the financial piece, and that is we are in and have filed our 2023 paperwork with the state of Illinois for our 501c tax exempt status. We're still working with the federal communication, if you will. We've filed our name change. We're waiting to hear back on that before we go through and figure out how we're going to get the club reinstated as a 501c. Cal, I assume you haven't heard any more on the name change.
No, I have not, Gary.
Not surprising. Okay. Any questions on the financial piece? Okay. We'll start with Chicago.
Yes, Chicago is going to be a little delayed for next year's event. I was planning on doing it September 14th in the fall again on a Thursday. And that's my events there,
That's for 2023, Diane.
2023, right? And then the event for John Fields. John Fields had a little setback this year. I've made about 4 phone calls. He had fallen on the ice in the spring and has been having partial hip replacements and then follow-ups with doctors, and now he's doing heart work. Evidently, they want to, he's got AFib, and they want to do an echo test now. But I told him the first week in October, Barb Salerno and the girls all get together with me, and I said to him, would you like to join us? I won't be paying for them for dinner, just him and his wife, but he said possibly to call him next week and find out what the doctor said. But he hasn't been driving his car. He wasn't allowed to for a long time. And that was what he told me there. And that's about all. Judy's still out of town, so I told her about it before she left, and she said she'd be back by that time, so we can do it that first week in October when Barb Salerno comes in town, and Judy and Darlene, man. So we thought we'd get together as a group. He did work with all of those girls.
Diane,
was my-
have you had any conversation with Darlene at all? How's she doing?
Yes, the other day, because I was on the email for getting together, and she's doing okay. She's fine. She's still, doctoring, but so far she said she's stable. So that's all she was telling me. I'll
And then,
find out more.
We got a note from Dave Staley at Jewel that they're going to restart their meetings and
Right.
social events in person.
Yep, they've got approval. They're going to start some of their, they haven't had any meetings yet, but they're doing some October events. Support system goes out to different food banks in Illinois and doing all that. Right now, it's very minimum, but they're starting.
Following John's lead. New England. Larry?
Yeah, Glenn, you want to take it or you want me to?
Go ahead, Larry.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you, this event, for those, a little background, Kathy and Ray McDonald, both were key people working at Osco in New England in many different roles. And their son died in a motorcycle accident roughly a year ago. And at the time, I believe Sean had a 1-year-old and his wife was pregnant. And so kind of 1 year later, one of the people that Kathy used to work with in a job after she left Osco organized this golf outing. And we had beautiful weather. They could only take 36 foursomes and they were sold out.
Wow.
There were 8 Osco people and there were just a tremendous amount of Sean's friends. And actually they sold out. There was another foursome from Osco that wanted to get in, but couldn't because they couldn't take any more than 36 foursomes. Anyhow, it was a lot of fun. Glenn, Ken Belfield, Jerry and I were a foursome. And let's just say that we kind of knew from hole one, as we saw some of these
Yeah.
28-year-olds driving off the tee box at about 280 yards. We knew that we were not going to be in the top winning category. So
And the
we
team
had a
ahead of
lot.
us had 5 people.
Well, go ahead,
Didn't they
Glenn.
have senior
said that-
boxes to, didn't they have senior boxes to stand at? Larry?
Well, they weren't senior enough, let's say.
Oh,
I was never embarrassed to tee off from the ladies' tees.
Anyhow, we had a great time. And, you know, just the most exciting thing was the event, as you can see in the minutes, netted over 32,000. And that
Amazing.
money went directly to Sean's wife and his kids. So anyhow, it was really a great event.
Well done.
Outstanding. Larry, anybody send me pictures that I can post on the website?
I've got
no.
pictures.
Yeah, go ahead, Gary.
I've got pictures, and we're gonna just put a recap article in the fall edition of Connections, Dan.
Wonderful, wonderful. That sounds great.
Are we going to do pizza this fall in New England?
Oh, we don't have any, nobody has grabbed that and decided we would. We really hadn't even talked about it. Glenn, do you have an opinion?
No, well, I know there's an interest out there. I've talked to some of the, the old Osco guys when we get together now and then for golf or beer. And there is a desire to get together, something like the pizza night. But to your point, I think the summer got away from us. I think we put all our resources towards Ray and Kathy's event, and
Rightfully so.
just didn't really have, we really didn't put it together this year. So that I do think it's something we should do. I'd like to maybe propose that we move it to the spring when many of us are back, and we can work on that.
Yeah, super.
Okay.
And I haven't been on a board call since Anthony Accardi got seated on the board, and it's really neat, Anthony, to have you as part of the team, the total team, and be great to get Anthony involved in some of our planning also.
Thank you. It's a pleasure, Larry.
Can I bring up one thing, since we're on New England here? Going back to the dues and trying to collect money for the group. The fraternity that I belong to at UNH has really struggled with the same thing, collecting dues and donation. This year, we put together a task force to pay off the house, the mortgage on the house. And one of the things that we're doing is we've created a website, but we're allowing members to donate a memorial gift. So upon someone's death, it can pay out by the estate. That money would then be donated to Sigma Beta Fraternity, but could be the Osco group. And there's really no money out of pocket since it's memorial gift. So we put it right on the website that if somebody wanted to participate in that, they were able to click on it and donate, 10 grand or whatever it is. And that has gotten some positive reviews. So I don't know if it's something we can do here or if it's something we want to even think about, but just wanted to pass that along.
Glenn, would you if you could, send me the verbiage that you guys use?
Yep.
And we'll talk about that at the next meeting.
Okay.
All right, well, the 77th at Sav-on is now behind us, as is the Thousand Oaks Pizza Party.
Yes,
Good times in California, as usual.
yes. So I'm a big believer of pictures worth 1,000 words. So let's go to our shared photo gallery here. That's our old friend Dennis Palmer, who was there. He and John Terry were the two signatories, if you will. John had to do a video hello to everyone because he was actually in Chicago at a family reunion. But we had a great turnout. We had 77 people. We sold 77 tickets for the 77th reunion. And we had a lot of great old memorabilia that was posted around the room. There's Al kicking back. And if you look past Al, on the wall back there, there's a guitar that Al donated to the event. And basically we had everyone who came that day autograph it, and then we raffled it off. And there's a look at the room. The event location was just amazing. Al, jump in anytime you want. I mean, the food, the service, everything was just amazing. And you know, we tried to bring kind of a feeling for the good old days. There's me with my wife and a glass of wine. I wouldn't go anywhere without that. So we had, there's the guitar. We put some centerpieces together that didn't cost very much, but had a nice red and white tone to them. We had a 50-50 drawing. That didn't seem to gather much interest, but the guitar, everybody really got a kick out of that. And what was really fun at the end was when we raffled off the guitar, Dennis Palmer won it.
What a rock star.
Yes, what a rock star. So we had some old uniforms. That white one there is from the 50s. Kind of hard to believe. And we also had, there's our group family photo. And then we had our staff photographer there. So Gary was, or Cal was mentioning the overall expenses came in around $500, but that included having our photographer there with the step and repeat, shooting everyone's pictures, printing them for them. This is our old buddy Earl Klein, who I believe is 87. He's a former vendor. There's Al with his family. We had a great turnout from the pharmacy. I want to say we had about a third of the guests were from the pharmacy side of the family. We had one gentleman, there he is, Les Bass, former sales rep. He got up and he talked for a couple of minutes and explained to everyone that he's 91 years old and still goes to work every day. Truly an amazing guy. And there's Dennis with Jeanette, his wife, and his autographed guitar. And there was Tony Pagano there a moment ago with Mickey. There's my wife, Annie. And then we had all these great step and repeat photos. So everybody got a printed copy as they stood up and took their pictures in front of the backdrop with the logos on it, as well as us being able to gather them all and post them on the website. There's Roger Frizzell and his wife. There's Dorothy. Our buddy from Arizona, from the Osco training department. Dale Bennett and Ralph Keys. So everyone had a great time. Al, anything you'd like to add while I go through the rest of the pictures? Al, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
There we go.
You know, it was nice because people were able to take souvenirs home, which is a picture with their friends or whoever, like, you know, they wanted to be together and taking pictures. As you can see, all those pictures you see here, everybody got to take a picture of it home so they can enjoy it and remember that, hey, these reunions are really successful and they're really, really nice, because if you look at everybody's smiling. There's just having a great time.
You know, probably one of the coolest things of the day was the way the room was set up. There was kind of an entryway. Then you'd check in at the table and then you'd go into the room where the luncheon was going to be held. And fully half the time, it seemed like everybody was out in the entryway because they couldn't get past saying hi to everybody as they came walking in. So there's Tammy Spackman. She came down from Utah, where her and her husband Mike live. There's Roger again. There's our friend Peter Bartholomew. He actually came to the reunion. There's
Yeah.
Shushma and Debbie Veal.
He actually joined the club finally.
Yeah,
And he paid.
and he paid. So I think then there's my old buddy Peter. I think everybody had a great time. And I wanna go back to what Larry said about new membership. And I think the number was 82 or 83 that we've signed up since the website went live. I just want to remind everybody that's during COVID. You couldn't possibly have had a more difficult time to gather new people than when no one was able to get together. And in spite of that, we got almost 100 people. And I think the COVID is in the rearview mirror now. Greg will tell you about his pizza party. I don't have any pictures from that yet, but we're going to have those in the next connections. There's Russ Peterson. He came down from Idaho or Utah. Some vendor partners here, Young and Werner.
Dan, did you post John Terry's video out there?
No, I haven't, but I certainly will. It's a great idea.
You know, even some of the people did not come in because they ended up getting sick either the day
Yes.
before or that day, and they didn't want to get anybody else sick. But boy, they were sure sad that they couldn't make it. I mean, they couldn't be more apologetic because they really wanted to be there.
And we didn't have anyone ask for a refund or, we didn't have, there's Tony and his wife, they're looking great. So the last thing John said on his video, and I will post that on the website to everyone, is see you at the 80th. So we're going to book that same location 3 years hence. And we're looking forward to it. There's our friend Les Bass and some friends from the pharmacy. It was a great turnout. So the only other thing I just wanted to tell everyone is I didn't hear not one person say anything except how much fun they were having, how great it was to see everybody else. There wasn't any negativity. And like Al said, we actually had 4 or 5 that the day before they called us up and said, I can't come. I've been exposed. I don't want to expose anyone else. We would have clicked a little past 80, but it was a lot of fun. Al, thanks again for all your help. And Greg, tell us about your pizza party.
Well, good morning, everyone. The pizza party actually went pretty well. For a group that's never really gotten together, I'm going to say over the last 30 years, I was happy. We had 41 people express interest via text, email, and so forth. 25 people showed up. Some of those were families and spouses, 16 of them that we had alumni. And so we had a good turnout. Some of those, I'm going to say, relationships that we had started 30 years ago. It was great to see those people again. A lot of people there, haven't seen some of their friends that did show up at this particular event, in 15 years. So in all, it was good. We had one store manager who was there. Let's see, and then we had basically everybody else was a pharmacy group. But we got it going, and I think that was the most important thing, was just to get people involved and sort of introduce them to the club, and we'll work that one from there. Right now, I think there's a lot more opportunities out there. I've been working on just building a contact list, going up to the Central Coast, some areas that I used to have when I was a pharmacy DM, getting up into, I'm going to say, San Luis Obispo and Paso Robles for California. We've still got some people up there. Santa Clarita and Lancaster is another group. I mean, all these places are sort of, I'm going to say, geographically remote. I doubt if we'll ever see any of these people into a 77 or an 80, but
right.
We can bring them into the fold, with more personalized meetings at their locations. That's what I'm after. So between Santa Clarita, Central Coast, looking at sort of like the Beverly Hills, Santa Monica area. So I'm working on the contact list right now so we can put something together.
Really outstanding.
I want to make a comment that what Greg just said. The only way we're going to keep this thing going and keeping it alive like Greg said, is having more localized pizza parties.
Yep.
Because if you don't, and you just wait every 5 years or every, you're gonna lose the momentum that we got going right now. And I think that the secret to the whole thing is to keeping it alive and continue having small gatherings. So the people know that we're there, and people know that, hey, at that time we could say, be on the lookout for a reunion on this year, whatever it is. So it keeps it going. Because if we just let it go, I just think we're going to lose a lot of people, because look at Greg. I mean, he had this one going there, and
In a
he
couple of
got
weeks.
25 people,
Yep.
and that's almost half of what we got for a big reunion. So I think we ought to concentrate on local pizza parties, like you said, Santa Monica, maybe down south a little bit. But if we start saturating this with small gatherings, I think it's gonna pay off at the end.
And remember, we have the website to use to help promote these events. So it doesn't have to be something where you're requesting payment up front. Greg didn't do that. Al and I both came away from our first pizza party thinking one of the big wins was you just pay at the door. But by using the website, you can promote it. You have a way to get it out there and have everybody see it. And LA, as Greg proved, is this 100 miles of concrete with any number of groups that were very tight knit to each other that didn't necessarily have much to do with the rest of Southern California. That's really the way to go after it. So,
and think of this: the last pizza party we had a couple of years ago, we had how many people? Like 60?
65. Yeah.
Yeah, and we didn't even have our website up. Imagine if we
That's
had
right.
had the website up, we probably would have had 100 people easily.
Yep.
But keep planning. People like to eat.
They do. They do. Thanks, guys, for all the help. Questions?
Greg, is there any framework or something that you could share with the rest of us to, give us ideas of how you organized it or anything?
Well,
just
I started with,
the
a
rest of
couple
us.
people that live close, and, sort of built the excitement with them. And then we put a flyer together, much similar to the 77th. And we just started sending that out. I had some contacts. So I sent that to my contacts and then encouraged them to send that to their contacts. And then I asked everybody whether they, it was from my contact list or from somebody else's, to reply to me so I could start building my database. But I think we all have, friends of friends out there that, we forget, gosh, I used to work with this person, or I used to work with this person. I had a pharmacist show up that, totally forgot that she was one of my pharmacy managers, but, and it was great to see her. But that was just being able to go friends and friends and continue to pass this flyer along. And that's why I said we had 41 people, come back to me and say, hey, I got a flyer from so-and-so. Can you give me more information? And that's how we built it up. And that's what I'm doing right now with the contact lists, whether it be for Central Coast or going into LA or Santa Monica, just sort of talking to people that I used to work with, and then getting them to talk to people and sort of start building the database. And right now, like for Lancaster, Palmdale, the problem we're having is just finding a venue that's going to be able to incorporate, I'm going to say 20 or 25 people, because when you start talking about Saturdays and Sundays, now you're talking about getting into somebody's football season. And, how can we incorporate football into that, or not football? And some of the younger ones have kids or grandkids, and they've got all these sporting events. So we're playing with that, but we're working on it.
We'll attach a copy of that flyer to the meeting minutes. And that way you can maybe tailor something for an area that you live in. I mean, there's plenty of opportunity out there in places that we don't reach, like Kansas City, where there's quite a few alumni. And maybe now that JP's retired, maybe maybe we can get him to try and organize something there, maybe along with Rich Hayes. And I'll see if we can't get something
Great
going.
people.
City. Some of our most senior alumni members live in Iowa, Cal.
You know,
not speaking about you, but I mean, and they occasionally will get together, but there might be an opportunity there to try and arrange something too.
you know, when I add something here, having Greg representing the pharmacy, it sure made a big difference in Los Angeles for Dan and I, because, you know,
Absolutely.
in the past, we've always kind of concentrated on people that are not in the profession of pharmacy or the vendors or any of that stuff. But having Greg concentrating on the pharmacy side, I think we ought to try to recruit more people that are in the pharmacy so we can get more diverse participation to all of our reunions or pizza parties or whatever it is. Because I think that's a section that we have not really concentrated on trying to get people from the pharmacy.
And I just want to, as one last thought, I just want to throw out there, anyone that needs any assistance with putting a flyer together, putting it on the website, I'm more than willing to help. It's not hard. It's not complicated, but you don't have to invent it from the ground up. We can reuse stuff that we've done before, but it really is nice to have that tool now.
Yeah, and just, you know, my thanks to Al and Dan for all their support. You know, sometimes you need a kick in the pants to get started. So I greatly appreciate both of you.
Did a great job. So there we
All
go.
right.
That's California.
Let's move on to Arizona.
Who?
I'll just make a comment that Romeo commences the fall season 1 week from yesterday, or from this past Friday on the 23rd, commencing at 11:30 a.m., ending around 12:45. And Jerry Bay has sent that out to all current and past attendees. At this point in time, we have no other plans for social events, but I'll let Brent and Stan chime in.
I guess, Stan, you want to cover the golf thing?
Well, there's really not much to cover until we decide whether and when and if we have the brunch next spring that we can tie the golf in. And we'd be able to put that together without too much problem, I think.
I guess my only comment is, I think our dialogue has to continue, and I think we have that opportunity now that Romeo is starting up again on the 23rd. So I think we'll definitely be talking about some of these outside events. I think COVID really has put a halt, but now I think COVID is in their kind of rearview mirror. I know I got my Omicron booster and flu shot this past week, and so I'm feeling fantastic right now, ready to handle just about everything that comes my way. So I think I'm looking forward to the 23rd in Romeo to see a lot of the people that I haven't seen in the last year or so.
And for the board, if you want to get caught up on Romeo, Jerry always puts together a little recap.
Yep.
With some
Hilarious
entertainment commentary that we post out on the website as his blog. And so you can probably Friday night or Saturday log into the website and see the pictures of the people that were there and et cetera. So encourage you to do that. John, Indy 500 in 2023, huh?
I guess not much happening besides that. I am going to have dinner with Jerry Gagno next week one evening, and so he said he wanted to catch up on any gossip or news from the Alumni Club. So if you have any insights you want me to share, just let me know.
Well, you can let him know that Larry Anderson had a heart attack.
Oh,
and has survived it and is on the road to recovery.
Wow.
I talked to him a week ago, I guess, but he's slowly but surely getting his health back and happy to still be here.
absolutely.
Anthony, you've been doing a great job with the website. without any
Thank you.
prompting. Trying to keep the news out there as fresh as we can for, again, another block of people that aren't necessarily alumni club members, but are former alumni. Any comments there, Anthony, on Facebook?
Well, we're pushing, we got about, I think it's 386 members, so we're pushing 400, which I think is great. And to what Larry was talking about, us wanting to do a fall, a spring event. So if we all remember, the Facebook group's origins were for our 2014 New England reunion. So
right.
I would say the first 100 members were from New England, and I think that would be a good, diving board to use for whatever event that we want to have in the spring. So I think that would be a great tool to get the word out. Other than that, keep feeding me information. Unfortunately, a lot of them are, people passing on. So, but we can't help that. But it's still a great tool to get information out there. We give little teasers of, the connections and some of the, the benefits of, being a paying member of the club.
Well, good job. Keep it up.
Thank you.
Okay, Dano. So the fall edition of Connections will be out here in a month. And you can see some of the information that's there. We've gotten some material from some members. We'll do a little recap on the golf outing, a little recap on the Alzheimer's walk. For member news, we've got Ellie Grubin's retirement. J.R. Pagano wrote a little story, as did Maria Constantino from California. The Kyles generate get-togethers in Minnesota twice this year, so we'll have a little blurb on that. We'll fill it in with some where are they now and whatever else we can come up between now and then. We are doing a memorial article for Bill Bates. We might be able to get it done in time for the October edition. If not, we'll get it in the winter edition. The winter edition will include the election information and the usual stuff. And we would ask that Greg and Al and Ken, to the best of their ability, come up with some ideas of some things we can would put into print that would be of interest to the membership. So. And we continue to get the monthly little newsletter out. And that goes out to a broad group of alumni. And generally after that goes out, we get 1 or 2 signups for
Every time
for the club. So I think we get some traction with that. I think next year we ought to take a look at maybe how else we can utilize that tool, what we're going to put in it. Dan, just as a reminder, maybe we ought to do how to do comments on memorials.
right.
For people. Might make for a good short video.
Yep.
We are talking about doing some revamping of the layout of the website. Right now, when you open up the page, it's got
Here, I'll bring it up, Gary, so we can.
okay.
take
You
a
got the company tree on the right, and on the left, you've got upcoming events, and there's always some membership stuff on there. But we want to try and make it a little bit more current with the most recent things that have been published, because unless you scroll down, you won't see the latest club news. So there's the opening homepage right there. And then if you scroll down, Dan, you get to club news a little farther down. So you get through membership, there's the Jewel update, and then club news is at the end.
And this is all the newest stuff.
So we're going to try and get club news up there where the company tree is at. We won't lose our heritage. We'll just move it farther down on the page.
Right.
But
Right.
At least when people log in, they would see whatever is the most current information.
That's a great idea.
We want to reposition memorial comments. So if, Dan, why don't you open up that?
In memoriam?
Yeah. Then if you want to make a comment, you can click on the person. And then if you've got to scroll down. And then what then you see is the most recent in memoriam post, and then below that is the comment. If you want to make comments on a memorial posting. So we're going to try and move the comments above the most recent posts,
Right,
so that you'd see that right below the person.
right.
And today, when we have new members join the club, that doesn't show up in club news. It does update on the website, but it doesn't show up in club news. So we're going to try and get that to be a feature as well, like any other updated posting, whether it's industry news or member news or the Romeo or whatever it happens to be. So I think we probably need Al to pull the website committee back together again and review what we've got, what we're thinking about, and then we'll get a hold of Nikki and make the appropriate changes. There'll be some minimal cost to that, but I think it'll keep the website a little more fresh. And if any of you have an opinion on what you'd like to see, get it to Dan or Al, because they're both on the committee, I think, as is Stan and Brent. Who else is on that committee, Dan?
Was Ken on it? I think Ken might also been on it.
That could be.
But we'll definitely
Your
respect
committee, come on.
the committee. Yeah, it's my committee. So I'll send a note out to everybody on the committee. We'll kind of recap Gary's comments, use that as a starting point. And then I think it'll give us a chance to kind of come back to the bigger group and say, here's our recommendations for freshening this up. And I think we've accomplished in the first year what we wanted, but now it makes perfect sense to do a little tune-up.
Sounds good.
Okay.
So, and here's a look at the last 90 days on the website. So there is some reporting we can snag off of. Go up one page, Dan.
Yeah, right there.
Right there. So you can see that we had in the last 90 days, 1,400 visits, site sessions. Unique visitors were 765. So some people go in there multiple times. And then the average session was 5 minutes and 7 seconds. So that's how much time somebody spends on the website. And again, we're never going to get everybody using the website. That's why we try to use some of these other mediums to communicate. That big spike you see there on that chart is 131 visits on September 6th. And that's when we posted Bill's passing notice. So people do use it as a resource, and they use it when they need it. And then new versus returning visitors, you can see that, we still get a lot of new visits to the website. And then sessions by device. Again, I'm surprised that more than half the people use a mobile app in order to get at it. So it's good that the committee came up with the idea of making sure we got a mobile connection and one that works.
Yep.
And then, last but not least, we can always use some more "Where Are They Now" articles. So if you could send out 2 or 3 to friends of yours that we haven't already communicated to. Larry, if you send me the latest spreadsheet, I'll include it with the meeting minutes.
Okay,
So take a look at that and send it to somebody that hasn't been contacted. And then really a compliment to this group for everybody came on the call wearing their red today.
Great job.
I think, former leaders of the company would be amazed at the follow through that the board has. Our next meeting is scheduled for Sunday, November 20th. Greg, is your coaching still going on in November?
I am finished November 6th.
So we can move that back to Saturday, the 19th, if that works out better for the board. I know there's some church conflicts that we create by moving it to a Sunday.
Saturday would be good.
That would be
Saturday
better.
work.
Saturday's fine.
All right, we'll go to
Saturday's fine.
Saturday, the 19th then.
Excuse me. Oh.
And then we need to pick another date, probably in early January, maybe. Let's see what. So we could do the 14th or the 21st or the 28th are all Saturdays in January. Any preferences there?
All work for me.
Gary Hunstager's birthday is January 15th.
Ooh.
Ooh, oofta.
Ha.
We'll do it January 14th. How's that?
14th. Sounds good.
At 9:30
Central Time.
Central Time.
Gary, do we have your permission to post your birthday in a picture?
Yes, you do, John.
Thank you so much.
I'll supply the picture. Anything else under miscellaneous? Anybody wants to cover?
One thing I wanted to make sure we do before we finish the meeting is if I can ask everybody to square themselves up in their camera, make sure you're facing forward here and get your pearly whites all shining. Then what we'll do is I'll take a snap of that, and that'll be our Christmas card for this year. Ah, now we're talking.
Oh, Stan.
Looking good, looking good. All right, so I'm gonna do a countdown. 3, 2, 1. And we are looking good.
All right. Then you'll have to go back and capture Judy and Ken to get them
Yes,
added in.
yes.
Stan, I have a question for you.
Yes,
I
Go ahead.
understand you were wounded while golfing. Is that true?
by John McGovern. Yes, he hit me in the head with his golf ball.
Ow.
Oh,
And it was
Ouch.
coming out of a bunker. He sculled it and it was coming out at pretty rapid speed. Dropped me to my knees, had a little blood, but recovered quickly.
Glad to see you survive. That's why I quit golfing. It's just too dang dangerous. And I've
bigger
often
target.
said if you golfed with me, you needed to wear a helmet. Well, we're glad you're on the mend as well.
Yes.
Anything
Thank you.
else for the meeting?
excuse me, I stepped out for a minute, so I know your meeting is now going to be October or November 19th, Saturday, right?
Correct.
Okay.
And
Did
then
you
again,
make another
January
date?
14th,
You said the next one was January
14th.
14? Okay, thank you.
All right, so we're gonna try and fill in some of the upcoming events so that's got a little more life to it on the website. So for those of you that do the regional things, let me know what you're thinking and we'll get something out there.
Yep. And I want to thank everybody for the first year on the website. It's been a great team effort. All those new members came around because everyone contributed. And as I said earlier, I think when you look at the headwind that was against us, that new membership list is pretty impressive. I don't see any reason why we can't hit another 100 in the next year. So great job.
Well done. Thank you for your
Well
help.
done. Yes, nice work.
Okay, well, we'll see everybody when it's a little colder out.
Speak for yourself,
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah, it'll be colder for you too.
I suppose.
It's just a relative term, that's all.
Yeah.
All right.
Stay well, everybody.
Take care.
Thank
Good
you.
meeting.
Have a
Take care,
happy
everybody.
holiday.
Bye.
Happy holidays.
Same to you.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.